Coach, does it feel like Big East Media Day again, where you're preparing?
Not as many people.
Sure, but just preparing to field all the questions about what's coming up tomorrow.
This might be hard for you media people to understand, but you're not that creative. So I've answered a lot of these questions for 43 years. This will be my 5th time coaching against him. So I always try to be very respectful of everybody's questions, but just kind of is what it is. It comes to the territory. There's a lot of amazing things that come with being his son, and there's every now and then about 2% of it's a little annoying, but the other 98% is phenomenal.
First time meeting him as Big East coaches, what extra meaning does that have?
No extra meaning. There's no. It doesn't matter what game I coach in, whether it's UC, which everybody tries to make it different. They're just not to coaches, and that's every coach. What I do know is St. John's is really good. It's going to be very, very tough. But as for coaching against him, I mean, it's going to be great to see him. I mean, that's been the beauty of moving from New Mexico to Cincinnati. Really that's been one of the best things. Has been closer to family, and then to have an opportunity to see him is always great. But there's nothing added in any game we play. They're all the same to me.
Along those lines, when you're scouting St. John's, is it business as usual like every other opponent, or do you ever lean on the familiarity you have with how he thinks?
Yeah, I mean, I watch a lot of film on every opponent. You know what I mean? So, sure, I'm more familiar with them than I am, anybody else. But we have so much film at our disposal. I mean, we scouted for Creighton, and I watched every offensive possession. I watched a bunch of games. So, yeah, I'm a little more familiar with their program, but that's not going to make it easier to beat them.
Coach, you're playing your dad tomorrow, but also it's Tu Holloway's jersey retirement, one of the greatest to ever play here. I believe you guys played against each other when you were at Florida. Have you run across him at any point in your career?
No, that game really opened my eyes about Xavier basketball. This profession has changed so much, and you always had kind of the pecking order of jobs in every conference. Now it's shifted. It's who has the most NIL, and that's the best job. But I remember coming into that building, and I had the scout. I was assistant coach at Florida, and did a great job shutting him down. He had 26 points in 40 minutes. We won the game, but that team and Tu Holloway and New York guard coming to Xavier, that was you could see the blueprint of what they were trying to do and the toughness and the guy went to 4 straight NCAA tournaments. I believe went to 3 Sweet 16s, clutch player. So he really, really helped the brand in kind of modern times in a huge way.
You kind of liked where the defense was going into that Creighton game. What bothered you the most just defensively from the other night?
The call with 4 seconds to go bothered me the most in that game. I think we were in foul trouble. We were playing an offensive lineup. Both teams were playing very, very small. So it was going to be more of an offensive game. We had to try to play them one-on-one versus helping off other guys because they were driving in there in the first half and kicking out and spraying. I think we did enough to win the game. Call went against us. It happens. It's refs aren't perfect. We still had an opportunity to go rebound the ball off the free throw miss. So Creighton makes it difficult. Our defense was poor, but it was a great offensive game for everybody. But we just got to keep working on it. When you're in foul trouble with Phillip and with Jovan, and it's just very, very hard.
This group this year has been pretty resilient. You lose a couple early in the season, you bounce back, you play well in Charleston, lose to Creighton, you beat Georgetown. How has the maturity and the resilience of this group helped? Coming off a loss like
that was a devastating loss. We had it. Unfortunate call goes against us. It happens in sports everywhere, and you have to just control what you can control. We didn't do that. Thought we played well. We had great spirit. You know, we had a chance. Our last 2 road games, I believe we've lost by 1 point, right? I think it's Marquette and this one. So, you know, the kind of the demeanor of this program, certainly led by me, is to never get too high and never get too low. You know, make the corrections as best you can, and then hit reset. And I think we have a group that's willing to do that.
What stands out the most about St. John's is they've kind of gotten rolling with 5 straight wins. Are they similar to any opponent you've seen? I know their offensive rebounding numbers are pretty close to like Butler.
I mean, I think when you look at our league, UConn and St. John's are clearly 1 and 2 in the league. Whether it's talent, you know, they've got a legit kind of core belief and principles of what their program is all about. They got an identity. Obviously, they had a phenomenal year last year. You know, people keep asking me questions about, oh, they were off to a rough start. They lost 1 game in conference. They're 7-1. And all the teams they lost to in the non-conference are really good teams. So they've got one of the best players in the league, if not the country, in Zuby. Dylan Mitchell, I love. I mean, man, he just I remember talking to my dad early in the year about my thoughts on him because he's a unique player. He's not a great shooter, but, man, he does so many other good things very, very well. Bryce Hopkins, I mean, Ian Jackson. I mean, they're just loaded with talent. You have to rebound. You have to take care of the basketball. But it's going to be, you know, maybe Butler is similar physicality-wise, but this is at another level.
How does the family split up who they're rooting for tomorrow?
Very unique question. Have not heard that one, Paul. That's a really good one. I don't know and I don't care. That would be the answer. I think what I tried to tell them at the beginning, whatever, because my brother, the snow is kind of messed up for everybody, plans and stuff, but my brother Ryan, who lives in New York and is a total Johnny's fanboy, I'm like, you have to root for the home team. You got to root for Xavier, and then you got to root for St. John's, but at the Garden. But I don't think they're rooting. My mom's rooting for me, and I know that because I'm her blood. She always says that. He's not my blood. You're my blood. But other than that, I think they want it to be a close game and hope it ends in a tie.
Does Dad come by the house tonight? Is that part of the...
We're going to get dinner. I don't know if he'll have enough time. He hasn't been here since I've had the job to see everything. He'd like to see the house, see the grandkids, things like that. But I don't know if he'll have enough time, maybe in the morning, depending on game change, time, and all that. But certainly he'd like to do that. But I wouldn't give him a Father of the Year trophy for coming by the house for 5 minutes either.
Maybe you give him a shovel.
Yeah, yeah. Put him to work.